Hey there. So I'm going to show you some basic fundamentals of putting. And with all parts of golf, it starts with how do we place our body in relation to the ball. What I suggest is you get your feet about shoulder width apart. Feel like your weight is about 50-50. Some people like to take maybe 60% or 70% weight on that lead foot. I like 50-50. And just have a feeling that your knees are just slightly unlocked. Not a lot. You don't need a lot of knee bend that causes some tension in the legs. Just unlock your knees a bit. And you just kind of want to feel like you're ready, you're athletic, kind of like a tennis player ready to return a serve, or kind of like a linebacker. Nice athletic position with your butt kind of stuck out a little bit like that. A nice way to feel in the stance in all parts of your game is you just kind of want to feel energized in your thighs. So you just kind of want to be nicely kind of a little bit tipped over like that. As I say, when you stick your butt out, that helps with that. And you want to take the club so that it just kind of comes kind of right between your hands and your arms, and let your hands meet together comfortably. I like kind of what's a very conventional grip. Now, this, for a right-hander, is a standard grip. That's your standard Varden grip. But in putting, and I think I can't remember exactly why, but I think it leads to stability of some kind. We do what's called reverse overlap, and as we have the pinky of the left hand covers the pinky of the right hand. Now, don't get too caught up in the details of all this. As you'll see in a few minutes, there's many different ways to grip the putter. This is the pretty standard way to do it. You'll see a lot of tour players do it. So shoulder width apart. Now we want to place the ball kind of where the club is moving, where it bottoms out in the stroke. So for me, that's just a little bit forward of my sternum. And I just place the club behind it. It's not up on its toe. It's not back on the heel. And if you just grip the club, because of the design of the club shaft in relation to the head, if you just feel that the putter's laying kind of flat on the ground, you'll be in a good position. Okay, so that's the basics of the stance. And we want to be aimed at, of course, at what our target is. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, in terms of some fundamentals, we really just want to put, as Dustin Johnson says, a nice stroke on it. So there's different ways that one can do that, but there's some core fundamentals in solid putting. You'll watch all good putters, and that is their lower body is solid. There's no movement there. It feels like they're kind of encased in cement. So there's no kind of moving back and forth at all. We're just very solid. The movement all happens in our upper body, in particular our shoulders and our arms, and of course our hands. But it's mostly kind of a shoulders and arms movement. So we're very solid in our lower body, and also keep our head relatively still. Just keep it like now. Don't get too fixated on that at all. As I said, we'll get into it a little bit later on how you can use your eyes to keep your head still. The other piece, say the third core fundamental of putting, is feeling that the putter head is accelerating through. And I say, don't fixate too much on that, because as you'll find as we go through our session and our time together, that these kinds of things can happen rather naturally, rather than you have to fixate on them and think about them. But those are some core fundamentals for you. And as we'll see in a minute, there's a lot of different ways to hit a putt.